Support comes from Seattle Rep, presenting a bold new season of powerful stories, including the world premiere musical Freak the Mighty, the satire Eureka Day, and the award-winning classic Amadeus. Subscriptions to the 2026-27 season include free exchanges and discounts at local businesses. Visit seattlerep.org.
I'm just a bill. Yes, I'm only a bill.
We all remember this song. It made it all seem so simple, and turns out it's not. Who writes, influences, and kills bills? It gets messy. I'm Scott Greenstone.
And I'm Libby Denkman. On Sound Politics, we tell that story, the inside track on how policy gets made in this Washington and the other one, and how it impacts you.
Listen now on the KUOW app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome to Meet Me Here, your weekly guide to arts and culture worth leaving your house for. I'm Jeannie Yandel, and what you're hearing right now is the Seattle Symphony performing Rachmaninoff's Symphony No. 2. But what you may not be able to hear is conductor Xian Zhang, unless you've gotten to see her conduct. Then, when you're listening to this, I bet you can imagine how she's moving. How she seems to pull the music out of different parts of the orchestra, and how she seems to weave the pieces together in the air in real time. At least, that's what I saw when I watched her conduct recently. It looks like she's having a fantastic time when she conducts. And when I was sitting in the audience, I could feel the joy that she seemed to be feeling too. Xian is the Seattle Symphony's newest music director. She started at the beginning of the symphony's 2025-2026 season. And in addition to joy, she projects comfort when she's up on the stage. As an audience member, you feel like she's going to take care of you and make sure you have a really special time. So when I asked Xian about her path to the conductor's podium, I was surprised by her answer.
I didn't choose to be a conductor. I always tried to be a concert pianist. I really worked hard at it. And my piano teacher, though, he wasn't very happy with my hands. He said my hands were too small.
Oh.
So when I got to about, I think I was 15, 16 years old, he said, "You're so musical, you have perfect pitch, and you have great memory. You can easily memorize any score, any music." But he said, I really think you should consider maybe composition or musicology or something. I said, I don't like musicology, and I don't feel like a composer. So then that's when I met magically a conducting teacher. She was a lady too, when I was 16, and she took me under her wing and started to teach me. So I never really planned it. It just kind of happened. It wasn't my choice.
Right.
But I think I was fortunate to be somehow guided by my teacher at a very young age. I was only 16. I played for her for a lot of rehearsals. I'm not one of those person that, someone you might interview and say, "I wanted to be a conductor since I was 5. I'm not one of those. I loved music. I wanted to be a pianist. I wanted to somehow be in music. But I think somehow along the way, conducting picked me instead of me picking it as a path. For that, I feel very fortunate.
Yeah.
Really. Many conductors had that experience. Many. Like Toscanini was playing the cello in the orchestra one night, and the conductor didn't come. Then he just walked up and conducted opera from the pit. So people do that. And some opportunity was created by someone. For me, it was also the same teacher who started me when I was 16. She gave me my very first conducting experience, public debut of Marriage of Figaro, when I was 20. It was her show. I've been playing the piano. I'm a pianist, so I played for all her staging rehearsals with singers for a whole year.
Yeah.
I played, I listened. I did know the music pretty well. And she, at this point, do know I was only, I think it was sophomore in conservatory in college. I have never, ever conducted any orchestra. Zero hand-on experience. Never. But at the dress rehearsal, we call it this probe, which is pretty much the final dress. And she gave me the big shot of conducting everything together. She just didn't come to rehearsal that day.
Oh, wow.
But she warned me. She warned me the night before. She said, tomorrow is the general rehearsal with the choir, all the soloists, the professional orchestra. This is not the conservatory orchestra, professional, the Central Opera House.
Yeah.
But she warned me the night before. She said, tomorrow I won't go. You will go and conduct them.
How did that go?
She said, if it's horrible, then call me. I come halfway. If it's really, She said, but I think you know the music and you should try it. So I went that next morning, very nervous because I've never conducted before.
You were 20.
I mean, I had lessons. I never conducted a real orchestra. I know the singers. They've been singing with me, playing for a year. So she sent me, and the orchestra manager was really furious. Like, he couldn't believe that she just didn't show up. She called and said, I'm not feeling very good. I'm sending my assistant. Let her do half the rehearsal. If it's horrible, you call me. I come in the intermission, in the rehearsal break. So I started conducting, finished Act 1 in the break, and the manager called my teacher, and he said, she seems to be okay. She just read through, finished reading the first act, and everything was fine. And my teacher said, okay, let her finish the rehearsal this morning and let me know how it goes tonight. So it went on like this for 3 days. I did all the rehearsals, all the dress with cast. Eventually, the night before the opening, there were supposed to be 2 shows. She just let me do 2 shows.
Oh, wow.
That was my debut.
What do you make of that experience, looking back on it?
I cried after the first show because my feet hurt so much.
Oh.
That was my very first real experience that felt, Figaro is long, and they did all the recits. So the whole show went 4.5 hours.
Oh, that's a long time to be standing and moving around.
Figaro is one of the longest operas you when you conduct, except the Rain. And, for Mozart, that was the longest, much longer than Don Giovanni.
Yeah.
And I just remember I literally was in so much pain after the first show.
Oh, no.
But thinking back, that's sort of a forecast of my career, I suppose. I was barely 20. I just turned 20.
Were you only crying because your feet hurt, or was there any other reason?
Also because, yes, mainly the physical reason, but the emotional reason was that it was so unbelievable. I couldn't believe it actually conducted the whole opera by, just in a few days of notice.
Yeah. Can I just ask, how do you prepare for an evening of conducting like that? I mean, what do you eat beforehand? How much water are you drinking ahead of time? You are a very physical conductor.
Water a lot, but actually, I found myself I perform better without eating. I move better, easier, I should say, for myself, without food weighing me down. I would actually say I never prepare for any concert physically.
Really?
I prepare 300% mentally. And everything I do is either from score studying and really very thorough to the very last minute. I really study the score. I study thousands of times, even though it's something I've done many times before. I always study before the concert. Even between the dress rehearsal and the final concert, I have a couple hours in between in the afternoon. I would at least use 2 or 3 hours of that time to study the score. One more time. Always, there's this, I think conducting is mostly mental. The preparation that I go over the pages, not only from my point of view, what do I need to do, but usually I review what I remember, what players needed. Like this page, if I remember someone did something, and I would question myself and say, what can I do to make this better for the player? If there's something I can help, something I can do or show to make it easier for that player, I will do it. And that's usually what I ask myself before a concert.
Where are you doing this preparation? I'm trying to imagine, is there a space that you like the best?
Usually in my apartment or hotel. But also sometimes it can occur just right before in the dressing room of the conductor's room. Sometimes it only goes out in my brain. Like if I'm in the car, but this is still going. I'm still mentally preparing for it. And I even do it, let's say 3 concerts for that week, same program. After each concert, I would review in my mind. Even though if I'm not really looking at the page, I always go through in my mind. It's like a machine that runs itself. So I would really say it's 300% of the mental preparation versus 0 physical preparation. But I mean, we've been rehearsing usually 2.5 days. So physically, that is the physical part of the, we've tried the piece, I conducted many times. But really this job, being a conductor, there's so much to do mentally.
More with Seattle Symphony music director Xian Zhang in a minute.
Support comes from Seattle Rep, presenting a bold new season of powerful stories, including the world premiere musical Freak the Mighty, the satire Eureka Day, and the award-winning classic Amadeus. Subscriptions to the 2026-27 season include free exchanges and discounts at local businesses. Visit seattlerep.org.
Seattle's economy is complicated. Inflation, tariffs, AI, layoffs. It's a lot to keep track of.
That's where we come in. I'm Joshua McNichols.
And I'm Monica Nicholsberg.
We host Booming, a podcast about the economic forces shaping our lives here in the Pacific Northwest.
Every week, we dig into the big questions about our economy and where you fit in.
Find Booming on the KUOW app or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Seattle Symphony music director Xian Zhang was just telling us how she prepares mentally to conduct. I was curious to know how she prepares emotionally.
It's funny because each week during and between rehearsals, I always have a evaluation of how this process is going. Like after today, if it's first day of rehearsal, I would always think, what do I need to do tomorrow to make this work even better? But each day it goes like this. So emotionally, whatever happened in the previous either rehearsal or a concert, especially a concert, I think everybody, all the players and the conductor, we all sort of have a report within ourselves, right? You don't have to say to anybody. Usually it goes really well, but there's always something that you can improve or to make it better. If it's something that was excellent happened last night, and you kind of think, I need to have that happen again. And how do I make that happen again? What worked? Why was it so good? So it's always a report. And the next step, what do I do? Or how do we do? Very nicely, it's never really inquisition or never, accusation or any of that. But I would actually go to that player myself and say, this is maybe an issue that he or she has never thought of, not aware of some other parts that's happening, because it's always in relation of other people. It's a lot of people playing together. So that is my habit of working. Usually there would be one or two, a couple of things. I would go straight to that player and say, can we try this tonight? And usually musicians are very open to it and they're happy to try it. And most of the time, that would make things even better for the next performances.
Yeah, I believe that if we were looking at Instagram right now, we would find a meme about self-talk, which is absolutely an emotional component for preparation.
And as an artist, I think there's so much going on within yourself. You have to have that dialogue. Otherwise, you don't improve as a musician or as any artist. There's always a dialogue within yourself, a voice, right? That's what drives us. If there's no voice, that would be so bad. Then what would be driving this artist? That would be repetition. I don't think repeat is good for any art making. It has to be something spontaneous.
So then what is your inner dialogue? Because from what I'm hearing, a lot of it is, what can I do better than I did yesterday? What other kind of dialogue are you having with yourself as an artist?
Very often to myself, I say, let's say first concert already went and it went really, really well. Usually, besides the technical points that I can improve or talk to musicians about, I would like to think of sort of the musical structure more than other things. If I have a second concert that night, what tempo am I going to take? Do I take it a little bit slower because last night was slightly hectic? It was a little bit too rushed, or something else? Those are the things I think about.
Nobody can see us right now, but as you're talking about your own process, the way you prepare, you have this big grin on your face. What's the most joyful part of this job for you?
I think the most joyful part of being a conductor is when I sense that the music we produce on stage really resonated with the audience on the spot. And that's almost as clear as day when it happens or it doesn't happen. It's just pretty clear in a performance.
How so?
I think the players on stage and myself, I think we sense it, even though you see me only on the back. I mean, you don't see. But I always say the conductor's back is like a sensory board. You may feel like it's like a block of wall or whatever thing, but actually, it goes both ways. It goes two ways. The audience receives the music and you react to it. As us on stage, we also receive what the feedback is from the audience, and it comes back to us. And as I say, my back is like a sensory board. I feel it in my back. You can't see my face from the back, but I feel if it's buzzing or not. If the buzz is there, the concert is successful. If the buzz is slightly lukewarm, and then it's okay, professionally speaking, but it's not as...
Yeah.
I felt the concerts I've done in January, particularly, I think I felt a lot of buzz from the audience, which is fantastic. It's what we seek for. It's why we still perform live music for live audience in person.
I love that description of your back as a sensory board.
People always think, okay, the conductor, he or she stands there and waves, and you just see her back. But there's quite a lot you can get from the people behind us. Audience don't think that, I know, but it goes both ways.
There are probably folks listening right now who they know about the symphony. They might even be curious about it, but they've never been before. They've never gone. What would you say to that person who has not yet been to the Seattle Symphony?
I say they have to come to Benaroya Hall to listen to the Seattle Symphony for two reasons. One, the Benaroya Hall is one of the best halls all over the world, not only in the States. The hall itself is a marvel, and people may not talk about it enough. I think in Seattle, people kind of, okay, Benaroya Hall. But if you compare all the halls, especially in the States, great symphony halls, Benaroya is one of the top in its sound, in its design. And the other reason is to see the symphony. Our orchestra in recent, let's say, 10 years or so, 15 years, let's say, it has hired some of the top players of our generation, really. We have some of the highest, like, star principals, players in, let's say, Damare, for example, the flute, and concertmaster, Noah is fantastic, or cello, Efe. We have fantastic players. And if you say these names, like I just said to you, it may not be, okay, you hear them often because they're in Seattle, but if you mention these names to other people, let's say in New York or Philadelphia, let's say, people know these names. Why? Because they're top players. People know. We all know. East Coast. When you mention these players, they say, oh, wow, you have a great cello principal. Oh, wow, you have a great concertmaster. Musicians, we talk about ourselves and we know these names. So these are the two reasons. One for the hall, the other for the orchestra. And maybe the third one is for me. They should come see me. 3 reasons.
I'm glad you mentioned yourself. Good. I was about to say goodbye to Xian Zhang. She has a lot to do. In addition to her new role at the Seattle Symphony, she is also in her last 2 seasons as the music director of the New Jersey Symphony. But as we were wrapping up, she said, "Do we want to talk about what Timothée Chalamet said?" Now, if you have somehow missed this story, A couple of weeks before the Oscars, actor Timothée Chalamet said he didn't want to work in opera or ballet because nobody cares about opera or ballet anymore. And he got a lot of blowback from other celebrities and even at the Oscars, where he was nominated for Best Actor. Host Conan O'Brien cracked a joke about it, and ballerina Misty Copeland came out of retirement 3 months after a full hip replacement to dance on the Oscars stage. So I asked her what she thought about Timothée Chalamet's comments.
As long as humans are living on this planet Earth, I do think there's no stopping for live music. This is part of our very natural instinct, and to be part of something bigger. We as musicians, I still think we have a job to do. I don't think we'll ever be replaced.
Big shout out to Seattle Symphony music director Xian Zhang, who found time to talk with us while working 2 jobs on different coasts. She told me she's currently putting all her energy into the Seattle Symphony as she wraps up her tenure in New Jersey. And you can tell she's bringing the energy to Seattle when you see her conduct. You can see her at Xian Conducts Mozart on April 30th and May 2nd and 3rd, and the symphony season finale featuring Beethoven's 9th Symphony. That happens June 18th through the 21st at Benaroya Hall. Thanks for listening to Meet Me Here. Meet Me Here is produced by KUOW, a proud member of the NPR network. It's hosted by Katie Campbell, Dyer Oxley, and me, Jeannie Yandel. And it's produced by Kyle Norris, Brandy Fullwood, and Matt Martin. Phyllis Fletcher is our editor. You can find out more and support the show at kuow.org/meet. And if you're enjoying Meet Me Here, let us know. Rate and review the show wherever you listen. It really helps. If you have an arts and culture event you want to tell us about, email us at arts@kuow.org. That's arts@kuow.org. I'm Jeannie Yandel. See you soon.
Support comes from Seattle Rep, presenting a bold new season of powerful stories, including the world premiere musical Freak the Mighty, the satire Eureka Day, and the award-winning classic Amadeus. Subscriptions to the 2026-27 season include free exchanges and discounts at local businesses. Visit seattlerep.org.
Soundside brings you beyond the headlines with news and conversation rooted in the Pacific Northwest. I'm Libby Dankman. Every week I sit down with local journalists for Soundside's Front Page, where we give you a shortcut to understanding the latest news and cultural moments and how they affect us here in the Puget Sound region. It's all here on Soundside, on the radio or streaming Monday through Thursday at noon and 8 p.m. on KUOW, on the KUOW app, or wherever you get your podcasts.